大家好，我是007，我在西班牙。
In his YouTube series, Mr. 007 from China lays out the lived realities of contemporary China. The seemingly self-evident line, "I am Chinese," in his analysis, not just a cultural or identity claim. It is loaded with political allegiance, material interests, and historical baggage, including what he describes as ruling class pressure and inducements toward Taiwan and Hong Kong. He also revisits the much-maligned narratives about 19th century Shanghai Treaty ports and colonial Hong Kong, arguing that, however imperfect, they offered many locals rare spaces of legal protection and personal freedom. That context helps explain why Hong Kong's and Taiwan's autonomy is perceived as a profound political threat in Beijing, and why sustained united front efforts target these societies. This episode condenses portions of his work. Due to platform sensitivities, some arguments are summarized carefully. For the full, unfiltered discussion, please follow Mr. 007's 1.
Have you ever stopped to think about how 4 simple words can unlock completely different realities? How a single phrase can open doors for one person, but for someone else it's just a statement of fact. Today, we're diving into a fascinating puzzle that all centers on that one phrase, "I am Chinese."
So you've got the exact same words, right? But depending on who's saying it, the meaning and the consequences change completely. According to our source materials, for a mainland citizen, saying "I am Chinese" is just a simple declaration of nationality. But for a Taiwanese person standing on mainland soil, those same words can act like a special key, unlocking a whole different set of rules and privileges. The big question is, why? What is going on here?
So let's talk about just how different these two realities are. The sources we're digging into paint this picture of a really stark, almost unbelievable gap in how people are treated. And it all starts with a pretty powerful metaphor. Yeah, leaks. One source uses this word to describe mainland citizens as a resource that can be, harvested over and over again. It implies a kind of disposable status within the system. It's a really provocative image, and it sets the stage for the contrast we're about to see. To make this super concrete, let's look at a specific case that was highlighted in the material. It's a property demolition case in Guangzhou. You've got a developer, backed by the local government, clearing out an area. And pretty much everyone took the standard compensation and moved on, except for one guy, one property owner who held out. And you have to see these numbers to believe the kind of leverage he had. Okay, so he bought the building for 4 million yuan back in '02. The government's first offer, 100 million. Not bad. But he countered with 500 million, a move our sources say would just be completely unthinkable for a local. And the final settlement? Get this, a staggering 400 million yuan. So, what was the magic bullet? What made all the difference? According to the source, it was one simple fact. The owner was Taiwanese. Because of that, the usual tactic of just forcibly demolishing the building was completely off the table. His status gave him a power to negotiate that a local citizen just wouldn't have. And this isn't just about property deals. The sources talk about what they actually call supranational treatment, and it extends to things like personal safety. They claim that if a Taiwanese national's child is kidnapped, the case will absolutely be solved. That a trafficked Taiwanese woman would absolutely not be chained up, unlike some tragic local cases we've seen. It's a level of protection, the sources argue, that is just in a totally different league. Okay, so this all raises a massive question, right? Why? Why would a system like this even exist in the first place? Well, according to our sources, this is no accident. It's all part of a very deliberate, very old political strategy. And the answer, the key to this whole puzzle, is this term, The United Front. Now, this isn't some new idea. It's a long-standing political strategy. It's basically designed to win hearts and minds, especially among groups that the CCP doesn't directly control, all with the ultimate goal of political unification. So how does that actually work on the ground? Well, our sources lay out a pretty clear playbook. You start by granting tangible benefits. We're talking special treatment, unique legal status, things that create real economic incentives. The whole point is to use these perks to influence key figures, elites, business leaders. You get the idea. Every privilege we've talked about is basically a calculated tool in this much bigger strategy. But, a strategy on paper is one thing. Let's peel back another layer and see how this is actually hardwired into the system, creating a real, measurable difference in status. To try and visualize this, one source even created what they call a differential treatment index. And just look at the scores here. A mainland citizen, they score about a 6.5 out of 10. But a citizen from Hong Kong or Taiwan, their score shoots up to a 9 out of 10. And that's because of special channels for education, better business deals, near equal access to Social Security. It's a clear systemic advantage written right into the rules. And one of the key mechanisms for all this is a special residence permit. You can almost think of it like a VIP pass. With this one document, residents from Hong Kong and Taiwan unlock a whole bunch of benefits. Core rights like employment, public services like education and healthcare, and just daily conveniences like banking, travel, getting a driver's license. It's all designed to make their life and business as smooth as possible. And this brings us right back to that opening phrase. This polling data from Taiwan is absolutely crucial to understanding the why. You see that over 60% of people identify as Taiwanese only. And that number at the end, only around 2.4% identify as exclusively Chinese. And that is why a Taiwanese person declaring "I am Chinese" while in the mainland is so politically powerful. It's a statistically rare statement, which makes it incredibly valuable in the context of that United Front strategy. And all of this leads us to the most fascinating part of this whole thing. A deep, profound paradox that sits right at the heart of this entire strategy. And here it is, the big twist, captured perfectly in this quote from one of the sources. All of this special treatment, all this privilege, this United Front value, it's all conditional. It only exists as long as the political goal of unification hasn't actually happened yet. Let me just put that more plainly. The very source of their privileged status is the fact that Taiwan remains separate. If the United Front's ultimate goal was ever achieved, all that special value would disappear overnight, and all the special treatment would go right along with it. The leverage is in the distance. And so we come full circle. Those same 4 words, "I am Chinese," now carry 2 totally distinct meanings. For a mainland citizen, it's a simple statement of nationality. But for a Taiwanese person in the mainland, it's a strategic key, a phrase that unlocks real, tangible, systematic advantages. And all of this leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? What does this system say about the true meaning of citizenship? Is it an inherent right, something that guarantees protections for everyone? Or can it also be a tool, a strategic advantage that's granted to some but not others, all in the service of a larger political game? It's a complex reality, all built on one simple phrase: